Hi everyone, this is Sean. Hopefully everybody's having a great day today. Please press the like button if you have not yet already. Please subscribe if you are not subscribed to the channel already. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Today's video, we're going to be talking about why some private security companies in California get away with coloring or painting their vehicle black and white and making them look like police vehicles. If you're chiming in from another state, you probably heard me mention California Vehicle Code. Obviously, the California Vehicle Code does not apply to you if you're in another state, but I think that this part of this presentation that's gonna give you some advantage, some leverage out there is my discussion on the advantages and disadvantages of making your squad car, making your security vehicle look like a police vehicle. This is not legal advice and not professional advice. This is just my own personal opinion. So let's begin. Early in the week, I published a video. It's about an hour long video. Actually, it might be an hour and a half long video. It's a sample module that I showcased for you guys, and I basically discussed what the California Vehicle Code section is on police vehicle. I'm sorry, I keep saying police vehicle. I might keep saying police vehicle because I have a tendency to mix them up sometimes. A security vehicle. I discuss what are the legal requirements for a security vehicle. Because this is a sample of my security and management leadership course that's upcoming. It's just a sample. I will probably remove it from YouTube, but right now I'll leave a link in the description. Those of you guys who are still watching, just see if the link is still available if you haven't watched that module already. And if you want to start a private security company in California, I think it's very important if you watch that video. Okay, so what started this video? Well, good old Dave from the security command channel. I can't talk right for some reason right now this evening. David from the Security Guard Command, this guy has the most intelligent questions ever, and he always gets me thinking. So there's a place called Great America that he mentioned, and they have black and white security vehicles, and it says security on it. But what puzzled him was they were marked black and white, and they have red and blue lights. How are they able to get away with this? And it's a security company. So Great America, I had to look them up because I'm not from Santa Clara area, but it looks like they're pretty much like an amusement park, like a Knott's Berry Farm for those of you who are in Southern California, maybe a California Adventure Park for those of you who, again, are in California, Southern California. It's kind of like the same thing. So how are they able to get away with it? Well, look, in the video I made, enforcing the California Vehicle Code on private property is somewhat of a gray area. And the reason why it's a gray area is because we don't know if your private property, your post, we don't know if that, if there was a city ordinance that was passed or a county ordinance that was passed that allows the local law enforcement agency to conduct traffic enforcement on that property. If there is, then the vehicle code totally applies on your post. But a lot of people don't have that information. And in order to get that information, you actually have to visit the local county or visit City Hall and ask somebody that knows. Usually a city clerk or a county clerk would have that information on that ordinance. So the next question is this. For those of you who say, hey, it's private property, they just don't leave private property. Well, most of the time, it's hard to leave private property. It's rather difficult because your patrol vehicle is going to need gas. It's going to need some tune-ups. It's going to need mechanical work. Unless you have an auto repair shop on premises, you have a place that does oil changes, or you have a gas station, you have to leave the property. Or you can, obviously, you could bring containers in for gas, the gas container, but it's just awkward, right? But that's how they're getting away with it, if they are. That's one of the ways. Also, there might be an agreement, an MOU, memorandum of understanding, with the local chief of police or sheriff that allows that security company to have black and white paint on their unit to look like police vehicles. Okay, my opinion is that Great America, which is that amusement park, gives a substantial amount of tax revenue to the city of Santa Clara. And because of that, their security director, their chief, or maybe whoever the CEO of Great America is, probably had a meeting some time ago with the Santa Clara chief of police and said, hey, you know what? We need your permission to paint our vehicles black and white. We will put security on it, but we need to give people the impression that this is a law enforcement vehicle, because if people see, if a potential active killer sees a security vehicle that just says security on it, okay, they might think twice. Actually, I'm sorry, that's the opposite. They might carry out their actions because in their mind, private security is generally less trained than law enforcement. So if we're able to market black and white, well, the active killer or potential active killer might believe that there's real police officers in there, and because of that, that police officer may be more trained than the average private security officer. Therefore, this is actually a deterrent for an active killer incident. That could be one reason. And the second is just, hey, we're paying you this amount. Can you just cut us some slack and not enforce the California Vehicle Code, even though it's kind of that gray area? And can you also just let us paint this color? Just you haven't seen nothing, right? So that I think that's what probably happened. Now I'm over here in Lake Arrowhead, and I talked to one of my fellow students here, and he's a law enforcement officer. And in his city, there's a university, a private university, and that private university colors their vehicles black and white, and it says police on it. Okay, black and white, it says police. And you would think that's impersonating a peace officer if you do that. Well, look at this. So, that university, you guys, has a lot of millions and millions and millions of expendable income or expendable money. I would not put it behind me that university is giving money to the city. And also, I look at the command staff, the cadre for the command staff, and I know one of the guys, and he was actually a former law enforcement officer. He was actually a retired officer from that city. So he retires, then he goes to this university, which is private security. Okay, they have a security force. Okay, he knows his contact because he was in the command staff level at this city police agency. So he knows contact. He has contacts at City Hall, everywhere. He's contacts at the police department. These officers they're armed. I never knew that this university even had armed officers, and they recently, to my most recent memory, that they recently. Does that even make sense? My most recent. Sorry guys, I had a long night. Decompressing here. Long day. Let me get back to my frame of thought here. So, basically you have this university that's paying a lot of money, paying a lot of taxes. I wouldn't be surprised if this university is allowing this city to use their resources. And also, this university has body cameras. Okay, body camera footage. Body cameras. But the police officers over there don't have any body cameras. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I look at the qualifications to be to drive one of these police cars, to have a carry gun. You have to have completed a level 1, 2, or 3 basic police academy. I think you have to have about 600 hours of police academy instruction. Another option was being a retired officer. For the police academy course, you have to complete it within the last 3 years. I think that there's an MOU. Well, my initial thought was that there's an MOU with the chief of police, the city council, and the university that allows them to have these marked police vehicles. And what I'm told is this, that these patrol cars that have police, or these, I guess, semi-police officers, they actually have to depend on the local law enforcement agency for making arrests. They usually call them for disturbances they can't handle. He referred to these officers who drive the police cars. He still refers to them as security that drive these police cars, the black and white. I'm sorry, not black and white, but it does say police on it.
Disadvantages. Where do I even start? There are so many disadvantages associated with painting your patrol car, your security patrol car, like a police car. And I also realize that in not all jurisdictions are police cars or sheriff's cars, are they painted black and white. Some of them may be blends of white, yellow and brown, maybe green and yellow. They're not all black and white. But look, if you paint your security patrol car to resemble a local law enforcement agency, it's not going to be to your advantage. It's a horrible situation. Well, it could be a horrible situation. So listen, if you are a security patrol company, please listen to this. And I'm actually talking to those of you right now who are supervisors or managers. If you create a condition that encourages behavior to act like a law enforcement agency, you are responsible for that. You're responsible for your guards' actions. If your private security officers out there pulling people over because this person wants to feel the power of being a law enforcement officer, that's your fault. It's the security officer's fault, and it's your fault because you set the wheels in motion. You set the condition. You painted your vehicle black and white. You did not take out the sirens. You didn't take out the electronic air horn. You left in blue and red lights. That's not a good thing. Not a good thing, you guys. I worked for a security company where the sirens were not removed. And what ended up happening was this. You get your patrol officers running code 3 on a freeway. It's not a good thing. And if you're a security company owner and you allowed your officer to patrol in a security vehicle where these conditions were not removed, where the electronic horn, the siren, the red and blue lights, where they're not removed, that is your responsibility as well. I tell you, it's tempting. I worked security before I got into law enforcement, and I will tell you, it is tempting to turn on those sirens. It's tempting to turn on your lights and roll code 3 on the freeway. It's tempting. And I'm saying that as somebody who started private security when they were very young. I'm not too sure a 30-year-old would do that, a 40-year-old or 50-year-old, or even somebody in their 20s, but I could be wrong. But don't set those conditions up. Also, if you make your security vehicle look like a law enforcement vehicle, when you're driving down an apartment complex or a retail center, there's always that possibility that somebody's going to think that you're in law enforcement and they're a victim of a crime and they're running to you for help. So you're over here, okay? You have a domestic violence victim, we'll just say a female, seeing a black and white patrol car from your security company, okay, running to you for help. Well, what ends up happening is whoever's threatening this person is going to follow along. Okay? And you are going to be stuck in this situation. You could drive off if you want. But what if you're not able to drive off fast enough? There's always a possibility that this domestic violence suspect might start opening fire, okay, in the direction of the domestic violence victim, and you're in the backdrop. Okay, not a good thing. I know a security company in my area who, and I'm gonna admit that I was a little bit foolish here, but I was in our law enforcement agency's patrol car. It's a black and white, and then I saw this other patrol car, black and white, and I started waving at them because I thought that they were my partners. Well, I ended up looking in the rearview mirror just to see what partner this is, and I saw a 1-800 number on the side. This is a security company. So where I work at, the patrol car doors are, I think they're black. The doors are painted black. The hood is also painted black, and then the top is painted white. Well, this security company did an inverse color. So every part that was painted black where I worked at, they just flipped it around, and it was, instead of black, it was white. So they basically inverted the colors of black and white. And it gives people the impression that they are police officers. So I didn't have time to stop this vehicle, because I would seriously give this vehicle a citation. This is a clear violation of the California Vehicle Code. That vehicle was on public roads, and it resembled a law enforcement agency. And I was quick to decide at that point in time that I wanted to give this person a citation. Obviously, the person left the area, and I was unable to pull them over. And it's nothing about power. Like, hey, I'm a law enforcement officer, and you're just security. That's never been the case. By the way, why else would I have this channel? It's not the case. I don't want to get the public mistaken that this security company is actually law enforcement for the reasons I just explained, for the domestic violence scenario I just mentioned. It's again, not a good thing. People will go to you for help, and they're going to be wasting time. So they're going to be running to you for help, thinking you're law enforcement. They're going to be feeding you all kinds of information. That time could be spent calling a law enforcement agency up and getting the help that they need, but instead they're wasting their time with a security company who pretends to be a law enforcement agency. It's not the way to go. Let's talk about some advantages to making your car look like a law enforcement agency. If you make it look like a law enforcement agency, you'll to a degree, you'll get the command of respect that law enforcement agencies tend to get, or also lack thereof. People usually will obey you. They'll follow your commands. They'll do what you ask of them when they believe that you're a law enforcement. Most people, and that's the advantage that you get with painting your car similar colors to a law enforcement agency. For those of you who have unmarked vehicles, again, you have those spotlights on the vehicle. People might think, again, that you're a law enforcement officer because of your uniform. And you can see in California, you can actually drive unmarked vehicles. It's the moment that you put an amber light system on top that you have to comply with the security requirements of our state. You got to put security patrol or private security on the back and then on the sides. But you can drive unmarked vehicles that resemble police cars. Again, the advantage that you get is people will tend to listen to you if they think that you're a law enforcement officer. But remember that it's that point in time when they realize that you're not, that things might go a little bit south. It just depends on the type of project as well, you guys. I'm actually not against security driving unmarked vehicles. I'm not. I think it just depends on the post. Anyhow, let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this. Looking forward to the dialogue. Take care.